Two of the top teams in the Firelands Conference look to gain an upper hand on one another tonight. It's Western Reserve and Norwalk St. Paul. We will have it all live and free from Warren H Whitney Field at Contractors Stadium coming up next.
Need we have.
Avita Home Health and Hospice, our caring professionals are ready to serve you with personally tailored services designed to meet the unique needs of each individual. When we take on a patient at Avita Home Health and Hospice, they really do feel like family. So when we take care of our family, we want to take care of the whole person. So we take care of them from our nurses, our aides, our physical, occupational, and speech therapists, but we also have people that tend to their hearts. So we have social workers, we have chaplains, and people that can help with the emotional side of their care.
At Avita Home Health and Hospice, we have a dedicated team that takes care of you. Caring for the whole person is our promise to you. From social and emotional well-being to the way the patient relates to their loved ones, we treat your family like our family.
Serving patients and their families wherever they call home, including assisted living facilities and nursing homes. Call 1-800-4NURSES to see if Avita can help administer your plan of custom care.
Every time that we walk in, we know we're going to walk into a place that's very clean, and when we walk in, we have a professional environment to come to. The reliability of Pinnacle is always on the spot. We've been with them 16 years so far. They're committed, they are professional, they are very transparent with their pricing, and they excel at meeting every goal and every need we have.
For over 12 years, you've trusted Scout Construction for quality building and remodeling. Now we're proud to offer expert excavation services to start your project off right. You've seen what we build, now see the way we dig. Experience the Scout Construction difference. Call or email us today for a free quote and let us break ground together.
Take a look at all the action from Friday Night Football right here in North Central Ohio with great analysis, highlights, coach interviews, and so much more every single Friday night right here on the OH Report.
And welcome into the RMH Concrete and Foundations pregame show. It's going to be a big one here tonight from Warren H Whitney Field at Contractors Stadium as the Western Reserve Rough Riders and the St. Paul Flyers, two of the three top teams in the Firelands Conference, trying to, get back that Firelands Conference championship. St. Paul last year winning in miraculous fashion in Week 10 at Monroeville to get a share of that FC championship. And tonight is going to be the same type of battle, Brandon. These two teams, both of them come in with a lot of special athletic kids, and Western really big up front.
Going to be very exciting. I know when we were on the broadcast earlier this year, we saw an excellent comeback from the Flyers, and they showed that they have a lot of fight. I'm excited to see what they have in store for tonight. Should be a very good football game.
Excellent. Brandon Ehrenberg bringing you the pictures tonight. Brandon Bliley providing color analyst, and I'll be Chris Bliley on the call of the play-by-play again on the RMH Concrete and Foundations pregame show. Let's take a look a little bit about the teams here tonight. First for the visiting Western Reserve Rough Riders, as they come in under Coach Ty Stevenson. Ty knows a lot about Firelands Conference football. He was a South Central graduate. They're 3-1, 1-0 in the Firelands Conference. Very stout and big up front, loaded with skilled players, much like St. Paul at the running back position and the wide receiver position. You see, shut out 3 weeks ago, 21-0 to Margaretta, but the last two games they've outscored their opponents 89-2, Brandon.
When they've won big. So let's see if we get that type of a fight out of Western Reserve tonight.
And it looks like the Flyers are just about ready to take the field. And we'll talk about the Western Reserve skilled players as the Flyers run out here on the field in our RMH Concrete and Foundations pregame show. Nick Pocus, who last week was our MVP, Civista Wealth Management MVP, takes it. And let's take a look again at the skilled player that we are featuring tonight for the Western Reserve Rough Riders. It's a guy who, if he gets near the ball, he comes up with it. That is Brexton Freilich, ball hawk. Great hands on offense. There's not a ball that, if it's in his area, he's going to go find it. Great instincts on defense. As Coonley's got to watch it tonight, not read down his receivers, because Freilich, great instincts, reads the routes well. You can see offensively, 14 reception, 186 yards, 3 touchdowns. Had one of the best catches I've seen this year, one-hander across the middle versus Bucyrus Winford. On the other hand, the home team for the Norwalk St. Paul Flyers, they come in under Coach Chris Dowdy. Really, really, really tough, non-conference schedule, as they had Port Clinton, we had that one, Edison, Calvert, and then their 57-0 win over Plymouth last week. Let's take a look at Western Reserve as they come on the field here and break through there. But look at the size of that banner out there when they run through it.
Not too bad. You're going to have to get a pretty good head of steam here to bust through that thing.
I'm trying to read it from the backside. It looks like it said hard work beats, I don't know, beats talent. I don't know what else it says.
When talent doesn't work hard.
Oh, well.
Pretty good saying.
I don't think that's going to be a problem for either of these two teams, as both of them are talented teams that work hard. Let's take a look at the Flyers and their player that we are going to spotlight tonight, and it is going to be our player of the game from last week, Nick Pocus. Not only, much like Brexton Freilich, he's physical. He's a tough ball carrier. Still looking. He went for 9 carries, 75 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But I still think he has a breakout 2-3 touchdown, 175-yard game coming. Flies to the ball on defense, and he's looking for that breakout game. You can see 38 carries for 190 yards and 3 touchdowns. And with that, that brings to the conclusion our RMH Foundation pregame show. As, again, we want to thank RMH Foundation for everything they do for us. And you can see getting ready to kick. It looks like Western has won the toss, and they will take the ball. And Brandon, can you see who's back deep? Sometimes I think it's Cooper Rowe. I do see Freilich on the right here.
Yes, seeing Freilich, and looks like Hayden Tobias also back there.
Hayden Tobias and Freilich. So St. Paul, I think if this comes down to special teams, or at least the kicking game, St. Paul's got one of the best.
Not a lot of trouble with extra points there for the St. Paul kicker. When he kicks them, they go through, and they go through pretty good distance.
He's been going with this little pooch around the 35-yard line. We'll see if they want to keep it away from their athletes that are out there. But we are all set and just about ready to get underway here in what we suspect will be a fantastic game. He does pooch it. It's going to be fielded out there by the Riders by Cooper Rowe. Rowe comes to the right. He's got a seam, and Rowe is going to be dragged down by Nate Sandor after a nice return here. We'll check it out.
And a late flag thrown in here at the end of the play as well. We'll see what that is.
Well, and sometimes that could be taunting on one of the teams, or I don't know if there could be a face mask, but let's see what they're going to call.
A few St. Paul players clapping might indicate that the penalty might be on Western
Well, I
Reserve
saw a
here.
push. I wonder if it's a push in the back. That's a dead ball. I don't know if that. I don't know the signal for that illegal participation. So 15-yard penalty on Western. That takes what was good field position and is going to move it back to the 27-yard line. That's where the Rough Riders will take over first down and 10. It should be mentioned that they still go with Colton Migro, the 5'11", 130-pound junior, as Hayden Keith remains out at quarterback. Hayden Keith would have been and still may be a 4-year letter winner. Handoff to Wiggle right up the middle. And Wiggle's going to get 5 tough yards.
Good head of steam there. He went through the hole and kept the momentum going forward. Picks up about 6 or 7 yards there. Good run on first down.
Brought down by Raphael Gross and a freshman, Abel Crouch. As you'll see St. Paul with 2 freshmen starters on defense.
I have a feeling you'll be hearing a lot of Raphael Gross's name on the defensive side of the ball here.
Wiggles had some big games here. Second down now. Looking. They're going to throw it on the perimeter. It's caught out there. It's going to be good for first down yardage, as making that catch is Dom Edwards. Edwards, a 2-year letter winner. And the pass, good safe pass, to get Migro kind of worked into the game.
Yeah, and a blocker out there. The Flyer defense got quickly to it, but not before 4 or 5 yards. Were able to get picked up. Good enough for a first down, keep the chains moving.
And after that big 15-yard penalty, they're get it out now close to the 40-yard line. So 2 plays, they've picked up 11 yards, and that is going to be good for a Miller Excavating first down. First and 10 for the Rough Riders, a minute gone by. And handoff Wiggle. Wiggle picks his room and takes a big hit in there from 32, Abel Crouch. But again, the hit not coming till he gets 5 yards downfield. So positive play there.
Yeah, kudos to the offensive line for the Riders. A lot of room to run there. Didn't get touched till, as you mentioned, 5 yards down. But Abel Couch absolutely laid the hit stick there, knocked him right down on his butt. Well, they're still good for 5 yards on first down.
They're big up front, led by Travis French, 255, 6 foot. They've got some other big guys up there that we'll mention. Wiggle fumbles the football, and Wiggle's able to fall on it and actually
gains yards.
Yeah, moves forward for 2 or 3 yards. So
could have fooled me. That was a design play, Chris. Don't think that would be the case, but very interesting to see a fumble like that go forward for yardage.
Well, we'll get to our keys to the game after this player after a first down, because that might be one of them. The last thing you want to do is turn it over.
3rd and short, a lot to do here in the playbook.
Wiggle straight up the middle. Wiggle, again, not getting touched till he's 3 yards downfield. Take a look here.
Flyer arm tackle is not going to be enough to bring him down. Strong run right up the middle, converts the first down. That's 2 on this drive, and the Rough Riders are moving down the field.
Keys to the game, I said limit the St. Paul air game. And Brandon, you said win the turnover battle. So
limit turnovers, pretty simple. Almost saw one there on this first drive.
I think Western wants to make St. Paul drive the football the way they've done the last 25 years on the ground, 4 or 5 yards. They toss it out there, and that's good for a catch, as that's that same man again, Dom Edwards.
Seeing a very similar play setup to their first pass that they threw over to the left side. Have one man out there blocking and short yardage passing going for pretty good gains.
On the other way, I said red zone touchdowns. When you're St. Paul and you get it in, Brandon, limit big plays. So far, they've done that, but when you're getting 5 yards.
I think Western's willing to take it if they're willing to give it at current moment. It's been a lot of short yardage plays, and frankly, the chunk yardage works getting down the field. 2nd and short.
And they get to the line of scrimmage, but they're being very patient. They're looking, dropping. They're going to throw it long down the sideline, adjusting to the ball. It might be intercepted.
This is 50-50 as it gets
here. I
here.
believe it's an interception.
They're still going at it.
The officials looking at one another, and we're still waiting. They're going to say Rough Rider football.
That could have gone either way, Chris.
And we only got the end of it, so it was too hard to see there. Boy, it sure looked like that was intercepted by the Flyers, but big play there as it's going to be another A. Miller Excavating first down, and great coverage out there. 50-50 battle for the ball, and the officials are going to say, hey, the Western guy won it.
Felt like the defensive back for the Flyers really ran the route for him.
And Migro's going to keep it. He's got a blocker out there, and he's going to be shut down inside the 3 around the 2. Nate Sandor out there, and Levi Rosbert also out there. That's going to bring up a second down.
I don't think Western's had a play yet for under 3 to 4 yards. St. Paul's going to need to start having some 0-yard defensive stops here if they want to keep this Rider offense out of the end zone.
So pick up a 4 there. If this doesn't go to Wiggle, I think everybody in Contractors Stadium will be surprised. Handoff Wiggle. Wiggle's going to go into the end zone untouched for the Rough Rider touchdown. Oh, and that should be Rough Rider touchdown as they lead it 6-0. There we go.
Well, that first drive had a little bit of everything, Chris. We had a fumble that almost could have gone either way. We had a 50-50 ball deep down the field. Very controversial as to who even came up with that. Both players catching it at the same time, but Western will take it as they advance down the field pretty quickly and pick up that first score of the game. Looks like they're going to go for 2 here.
They're going to go for 2, and why not? You've been getting plus yards. Handoff Wiggle. Wiggle going to pop it outside. He spins towards the goal line, but I believe he's going to be ruled down short as the Flyers are going to make a big play there as they come up stout. We've played 4 minutes at the 8:02 mark to play opening quarter. Western Reserve 6 and St. Paul nothing.
This after-touchdown timeout is brought to you by A. Miller Excavating. Using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders and businesses in Lorain and Erie County.
So the Rough Riders march it down the field and pick up the opening touchdown. And really, the 2 big plays on that drive were the potential fumble that Wiggle was able to bounce right up into his hands. Johnny on the spot, he was able to actually get 3 yards. And then that big play down the sidelines where the offensive player just outbattled the defensive player.
2 50-50 balls could have gone either way. Fumble having the potential to get recovered by the Flyers, and then subsequently it almost looked like the Flyer defensive back came down with the football for a potential interception. The officials ruled the other direction, gave the first down to the Riders, and the rest was kind of history. They cashed in for a touchdown shortly thereafter.
So let's see what the Flyers can do here as they come out for their first offensive possession. Again, I don't know whether Western not confident in their kicking game or just feel like, hey, the way they moved the ball, getting 2, we felt like we had a good chance. Coonley's got, I believe, Freeze and Pocus in the backfield. Sandor goes in motion, turn, handoff, straight up the middle. Good yardage. He pops it outside, and he gets forward for about 5. Is going to go Landon Freeze.
Good blocking there by the St. Paul offensive line. He ended up cutting back, I think, away from the hole that he had, but definitely got good movement up front to at least give him some yards that he could run forward before having to make that cut.
Yeah, and thank you, NOMS Orthopaedics, for all of our replays here today. Second down and 5 for the Flyers. Coonley looks over the defense. He's got Pocus on his left hip. Looks, he rolls, he throws the out, and it's in Lindenberger's hands. Some defense closed on him and just did not make the catch. Take a look here on the replay.
A lot of traffic.
I think he felt like somebody was getting ready to hit him.
Coach would say you heard footsteps there.
Yep.
I think he had a play to make, definitely in traffic, so not an easy one, but I think he'll be wondering when he gets back to the huddle there if he should have came down with the ball and if his coach thought he might have.
Rough Riders again without 3-year Letterman starting quarterback Hayden Keith. And, you know, when you're a small school, you not only miss Keith on the offense, you miss him on the defense. When you take a player away, lots of times they are two-way players. Coonley looking, being flushed out. He's got room to run, and he is going to get out of bounds right near the 40, and that is going to be good for a Miller Excavating first down for the Flyers.
Coonley quick on his feet there as he absolutely had to evade a tackle, which would have been for a sack, definitely negative yardage, but does scramble out to the right side, picks up the first down, showing that he can move with his feet there, Chris.
Yeah, Coonley, just a junior. You know, by the time he leaves here next year, when you're a 3-year starter at quarterback, you're a pretty special player, especially at St. Paul, where they have had some fantastic quarterbacks.
Pretty good players over the years.
Turn, handoff, Pocus trying to bounce it outside, dragging defenders, and a host of Western Reserve Rough Riders in there. Will Taylor, 6'2", 215-pound linebacker, comes in, and then he had a lot of friends with him.
Definitely gang tackling over there from the Rough Riders. Way to keep him contained. I will say the running back coach for St. Paul, I'm sure, is pretty happy. If you noticed, his feet never stopped moving. He was fighting for every yard there.
You were looking at, too, thinking, hang on to that ball. And he did a great job of protecting it. Turn, they're going to go to freeze with it, but nothing there. That defensive line getting good penetration, and Freeze going to be caught in the backfield. That's going to set up third down and close to 10 for the Flyers here.
Most likely thinking this is probably going to be a passing down here. I wonder if the Rough Riders are going to play coverage a little bit tighter here, knowing that this ball is probably going to go through the air.
Yeah, Caleb Carpenter, 5'10", 200-pound defensive lineman. Blake Welch, 6', 205-pound defensive lineman from his nose tackle position, make that tackle. So third down and 10. Flyer floor receiver set. See if Western showing blitz. Now they back out of it. Coonley's under pressure, though, and Coonley's going to be brought down in the backfield as Welch again gets in there. Blake Welch making a special play there, and that's going to, I think had St. Paul been able to get 6 or 7 there, maybe you think about it at 4th and 2, 4th and 3.
And close to midfield definitely opens up the opportunity to go for it on 4th down. A clear punting situation here.
Dom Edwards, 5'11", 155-pound wide receiver / linebacker, a 2-year letter winner back deep. The line of scrimmage is the 35. He stands back on his own 35. Good punt by Freeze as it's going to be caught on the 34. He looks to go left. Not a lot of room there. Breaks one tackle, and then it's going to be brought down. Sandor on the tackle. Also Raphael Gross getting up. But the ball going to go back to the Western Reserve Rough Riders with exactly 5 minutes to play here in the opening quarter. And I got the feeling, Brandon, too, watching Western, they got up to the line of scrimmage, but a couple times they let the play clock get under 10 seconds. I wonder if they want to shorten possessions in this game.
Yeah, I mean, limiting turnovers is one way to guarantee that you're going to have less possessions for your opponent. Also, running down the clock.
4 receivers set again. Coming in motion is Hayden Tobias, and they'll hand off Wiggle. Wiggles gets through, and the safety has to come up and make the hit. As Wiggle is going to get 10, and that'll be good for a first down.
Chris, we are on our 3rd drive here, and I think there's been something very clearly established thus far, and that is the Western Reserve Rough Riders are winning at the line of scrimmage.
Yes. Well,
on offense and defense, you saw them creating havoc on the defensive side of the ball, pressuring Coonley, and now their offense is getting whatever they want running the ball currently.
Wiggle going to carry the left side. Wiggle pushes forward, and he'll reach the 45. That's 3 yards. Take a look here, Wiggle. And, it's not surprising that St. Paul is the smaller team. St. Paul, over the years, has always been a smaller team.
When aren't they?
But they're usually quicker off the line, and they usually get a pretty good push up front. Right now, Western just coming in here with an attitude saying, we want to run the ball. And then once you try to stop the run, we're going to put it in the air.
See if this slow start turns around here for the Flyers.
They roll out. He's looking. Migro's got a man wide open over the middle, and that is Hayden Tobias. and that's going to be good for a first down.
But a flag in the backfield here.
Yeah, and
pointing at a Western Reserve player. I think this might be coming back.
Well, they were pointing at the guy we talked about, Brexton Freilich. And they're going to say holding. He was running a pattern, though, so I can't imagine it was him. But that's going to push it back now, though, and make it second down. And, those are other things. You know, as a coach, you get first down yardage, your quarterback makes a play, because that was probably the third option. You hate seeing those. I'm sure Coach Stevenson over there.
And a nice hookup at that, too. Guy running down the field, not just a 1 to 2 yard pass, but actually down the field.
2nd and 17. The throw is for DeBias.
Flag coming out here.
A late flag.
At first look, I thought there was extension on the offensive player's arms.
And that's what they call. And I don't know. Is that is offensive pass interference loss of down, or is that only in the college and NFL game?
Something tells me it's going to be replay second down, and they'll have to go a mile.
Yeah, I think if you have the option of canceling, declining that, I think I would. But
Flyers playing a field position game here.
Yeah. I'm going to look over to the know-it-alls in the building, Brock and Josh. Josh, are you able to decline a pass interference?
I think so, yeah.
And it's I know in the pro game it's a loss of down, but in the high school game it's not. Must not be. So it's going to bring up second down and basically Greenwich.
2nd and 32. Long way to go here.
I would be surprised if they do go short to Wiggle here, but instead they're going to throw a quick out. It's caught over there, and now moving down the sidelines and getting positive yardage close to midfield.
Almost back to the original line of scrimmage here.
Well, and really, really big cushion there they gave him. He picked up 19 yards on that carry.
Feels like the only thing stopping the Rough Rider offense is the Rough Rider offense with penalties. 3 on the day so far.
St. Paul has not been able to get any pressure on Migro either. And you'd think, with a younger quarterback, not the normal starter, you'd like to do that. They look, they throw the screen, and they've got it set up galore. Ooh. Blockers out in front, and that is going to be good for a Rough Rider first down. So, boy, if you're a St. Paul fan, that's got to hurt. As you had them set back there.
2nd and 32 was
2nd and 32, and 2 downs, they get 33. That'd be good for an A. Miller Excavating first down. Your offense or special team should be out on the field right now. But great play call there by Coach Stevenson. I was thinking they might run that play on 2nd down, but they ran it on 3rd down. And here you go. Again, you see kind of taking a little bit of time off the clock. Play clock's down to 10, and Wiggle's going to take it. Wiggle up the middle, tries to cut it to the outside, and Landon is going to get 3 yards on the carry. And Raphael Gross and Nate Sandor in on the tackle. Bring up second down as the clock ticks under 3 minutes in what has been a all Rough Rider first quarter.
You've called it, though. They are taking their time. This first quarter is flying by as we've sat here with Western Reserve in control of the ball for most of it.
Looks, and look at that cushion again out there. They're giving him 15 yards on the corner, and they're going to just pick that apart all day as that goes to Hayden DeBias. When he caught the ball, he had 8 to 10 yards.
You'd think he's Julio Jones with the way they're playing him. They're giving him a bunch of space here. Definitely going to have to get that a little bit tighter. You start to see that out of the Flyer defensive backs, and then is there a double move where they go deep? Something to keep an eye on.
Levi Rosbert out there on that right side. Levi, heck of a player. So I'm sure that will be one of the things they discuss at the end of the first quarter. They're going to keep it with Migro. He's going to run around the left end, and Migro is going to pick up a Miller Excavating first down as the Rough Rider drive continues.
Migro's doing it all. He's ran for first downs, he's throwing for first downs, and then he's handing it off, and guess what? Those are going for first downs too. Western up to 6 on the night so far.
Well, and I was very impressed in the 57 what was it, 57, whatever it was, win over, I think 46-0 win over Winford. Migro did not look like a kid that was in his second start. And again, looking at that play clock, that's certainly part of what they want to do. Direct snap, Wiggle out there blocking. Now Migro's in a little bit of trouble, and he is going to be brought down on the 21-yard line.
Took a lick there from Landon Freeze.
Sandor and Freeze and Pocus all in on that tackle. We got the drone flying up there, Brandon. I hope we got a good drone pilot.
Absolutely. Man, if I'm head coach of the Rough Riders and my starting quarterback's down injured and then I send my quarterback out on an island there to the right, he had 3 flyers tackling him there. I'd be a little more careful with him.
Well, especially the way Wiggle's run it so far today. Turn, they'll hand off to Wiggle. Wiggle trying to pick and choose where to go. The Flyers come up defensively. Wiggle just breaking through St. Paul tacklers before finally being brought down out there. 19 River Couch, and that's going to bring up 3rd down.
Credit to the Flyer defense. Despite him breaking several tackles, he actually didn't gain that many yards, so kudos to the defense, but wiggle it out of him there.
Now, it would not surprise me if Western goes run here because I don't think they're going to kick it. This is 4-down territory for the Rough Riders. Looking, they're going to throw it out over the middle, and there's Freilich wide open and into the end zone for the touchdown. Brexton Freilich is, it looked like there was, they knew who they wanted to throw the ball to, but St. Paul just didn't get the coverage.
And two Flyers were there just almost watching him getting behind the defense. Maybe a little bit of a coverage breakdown there.
And let's see. They'll go for 2, obviously, again, after missing that first one. But my, oh my, the stands across the way the band is playing the Rough Rider fight song as they have owned this first quarter.
Got to get more pressure onto the quarterback, Migro. He has gotten all day back there while he's making up his mind on who he wants to throw to. Well, and
here they're going to go Wiggle in the Wildcat, and Wiggle going to pop it outside, and a great play made out there on the end by Levi Rospert makes the stop, and with that, we're going to take a quick timeout with 28 seconds remaining in the first quarter. It's Western 12 and St. Paul nothing.
This after-touchdown timeout is brought to you by A. Miller Excavating. Using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders and businesses in Lorain and Erie County.
And back we are here. The only positive thing so far for the Flyers is they've been able to stop 2 two-point conversions, but really Western has done what they've wanted, and St. Paul offensively a couple decent plays, but they haven't been able to get in any rhythm because Western's controlled the time of possession.
Absolutely. That defense for the Flyers has looked really great in those two-point conversion attempts, really holding the line there against a tough runner in Wiggle, but going to have to get it done on the offensive end when you're playing from behind by 2 scores this early into the game.
Pocus drops it, picks it up, and St. Paul will take over 1st and 10 on the 34, and if it's a running play, will probably be the final play of the first quarter. Again, that tight formation for the Flyers. Turn handoff, and we've got a motion penalty on the St. Paul backfield as they came out of their stance early.
First one of the night for the Flyers. 3 over on the other end for Western Reserve. Going to be interesting to see how the penalty battle goes over time. It really can change the field position of a team. As you saw, Rough Riders were stacked up against a 2nd and 32 thanks to back-to-back penalties, but were able to overcome, go down the field and score a touchdown. Can the Flyers overcome this working from behind the sticks?
The last time St. Paul was faced with a, down long position, they sacked Coonley. Coonley's going to hand off. Good push there by the Flyers as they're going to get the 5 penalty yards back plus an additional yard, so it'll be a gain of 6. And that should bring us to the end of the first quarter as we played 12 minutes of football from Warren H Whitney Field at Contractors Stadium. It is all Rough Riders as Western leads Norwalk St. Paul 12-0.
Avita Home Health and Hospice is locally owned, locally managed. All of our staff, our board, everybody are members of the local community. Our medical director is a member of our local community and has practiced in Bucyrus for over the last 10 years. When you call in, you're getting a local person. The nurses that you talk to all live, work, and recreate in your community. I mean, I've been doing this for 16 years and I've taken care of 3 generations of some families. We're the hometown people.
So back we are here at Warren H. Whitney Field as we start the second quarter here. And football fumbled, and the Rough Riders say they have it.
Officials quick to give him the call there. Definitely looks like Western's going to be taking over here.
Looks like number 11, Tyler Cooper, comes up with it. So everything going Western's way right now. And they will take it over, first down and 10. And I don't know, sometimes you make a big play like that, Brandon. I always like when you go up top and try to strike. Let's see if Western pounds it with Wiggle here, or if maybe they try to take a shot to Freilich. And they'll hand it off to Wiggle. And why not? Wiggle gets into the Flyer backfield, runs over the safety, and that's going to be good for a first down. Take a look at that.
Lowers the shoulder and boom.
Wow.
That's running through somebody, folks.
And
that's what you like to see out of your running back. I'm sure the Western Reserve coach is pretty happy about that one.
That'll be an A. Miller Excavating first down, and it sets the Eagles up on the Flyer 25. 3 receivers to the left. Option right with Wiggle, and Wiggle gets another 8. Take a look at that one here, Brandon.
Western showing a lot of different play variation here, doing a lot of runs inside, outside, getting their quarterback moving outside the pocket, an option, throwing from behind the line of scrimmage, throwing deep down the field. The playbook is open right now for the Rough Riders here early in the game.
Western, everything going their way right now. Wiggle straight up the middle, and good tackle in there. Shy of first down yardage. Raphael Gross wedged his way in there from his linebacker position and make the tackle. That'll bring up third down and short, and again, which is 4-down territory.
When your coach says fill the hole, that's what they're saying to do.
Absolutely.
Immediately identifies it and quickly fills it, makes the tackle on a guy who's been very hard to get down. So credit to Raphael Gross there, getting Wiggle down on the field.
I'll be shocked if this doesn't go to Wiggle, but again, I didn't think we'd see Migro carrying the ball this much. There's Wiggle, first down yardage into the Flyer secondary, bullying over people down to the 6-yard line. And here we go. Look at Wiggle. Little student body right. He's got blockers out there, but he's doing a lot of this himself.
He just spins off of people. I've been very impressed with his game thus far tonight.
And that'll be good for a Miller Excavating first down. The Riders are going to go quick with Wiggle. Wiggle trying to wiggle out of a tackle there, as there defensively for St. Paul was Cade Hauk and Raphael Gross.
Well, you're not too far off of where your 2-point conversion defensive distance is. Can the Flyers make a stand? Going to need to here. Can't go down 3 possessions this early into the game. That is a tall task to try to come and claw back at.
Well, and really, if you start to fall behind by 20, and we saw St. Paul in their opener fall behind 37-9, made a great comeback. Wiggle straight up the middle. Wiggle breaks through 2 defenders and into the end zone for the Western Reserve. Touchdown. Wiggle there.
This guy does not go down easy. Arm tackle's not going to be enough, as you see it here on the replay. Inside handoff, breaks 1 tackle, bounces out to the left, and arm tackles aren't going to get it done tonight, Chris, for the Flyer defense. That guy's too hard to bring down. You're going to need to swarm.
Great job on that picture by our man Brandon Ehrenberg below. Thank you to NOMS Access Orthopaedics for bringing us all of our replays today. And now another try for 2. This time they'll keep Migro in. They went last time with the Wildcat. Handoff Wiggle. Wiggle's going to just bounce right into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. So
lowered his shoulder there.
Yeah, the Rough Riders going to tack on 2 more, and they lead it 20-0. Timeout on the field.
This after-touchdown timeout is brought to you by A. Miller Excavating. Using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders and businesses in Lorain and Erie County.
And back we are here as the Rough Riders 3 first-half touchdowns, 1 2-point conversion. Landon Wiggle with the 2nd touchdown run. They added on a Brexton Freilich pass and catch from Colton Migro, and right now St. Paul needs a score in a big, big way. Taken at the 25-yard line by Landon Freeze, and Freeze will get it out to the 40, and that's where the Flyers will take over 1st down and 10. And, we were talking with some of the guys up here in the press box. This right here has to be, this is about as must a drive as you can get here for St. Paul.
Yeah, you would say not even in the context of just this game. I mean, we're talking about this is an important game across the entire season, but how do you show up against tough opponents?
Well, and you, right now you need to flip the momentum, and maybe
pick up a couple of first downs.
You get a score here, a stop and a score, and you get the ball to start the second half, and next thing you know, it's a new ball game. Handoff Pocus. Pocus going to be brought down after about a 2-yard gain. Good tackle here.
The second he is getting the ball, there are just a swarm of Rough Riders around him. 2, 3, 4 guys just lined up.
Yeah, that was Landon Wiggle in there on the tackle. So, both of these teams, and we said it earlier, both of these teams count on a ton of two-way players.
Chris, I kind of like that. Kind of a fun little part of the Firelands Conference.
It is.
You get to see a guy score a touchdown on offense and then come in and make a big play on defense.
3 receivers to the right. Coonley back to pass. He's under pressure. He's rolling. Coonley looking. Now he's going to take off and run. He's going to get about 3 yards out close to the 45. And that's going to set up 3rd down for the Flyers in 5. And, right now they're getting 5, 6, 7 yards. Any positive play here to me is 4-down territory.
Yeah, are you willing to punt right back into the Western offense that has been just driving down the field and scoring? You need to make a change here.
That was an impressive 10 seconds there by the Western Reserve secondary, because lots of times when you get the quarterback outside the pocket, those defensive backs have to cover long.
Coonley has a lot of time right now, but just can't find anybody.
Yeah, now
wide open
is Rosbert. Rosbert down the sideline, outside the numbers, down to the 10, 9, 8-yard line before he is brought down. So big play here from Rosbert. And you can see 20, 15, 10, down at about the 8-yard line. That'll be good for a Flyer first down. That is an A. Miller Excavating first down.
Talk about timing, Chris. I mean, 3rd and 5.
Well, again, that's why I just said Western's, DBs the play before did such a great job when Coonley got out. That time they lost one. 1st and 10, 1st and goal from the 8. Handoff Freeze. Freeze bounces it inside the 5 down to the 4, where it will be 2nd down and goal from the 4.
Chris, got to imagine it's 100% 4-down territory here. The Flyers need to get into the end zone on this drive. You can't come up this close and have nothing to show for it. I would imagine you're going to see a couple more runs and probably some very hard runs, knowing the incredible backs that St. Paul has at their disposal. Kind of a two-headed monster backfield.
Coonley turn, hands off Pocus. Pocus gets down near the 2, maybe the 3. But again, take a look here. Western Reserve defensive line coming up stout.
Not a lot of room to run. I wonder, seeing that replay, could he have bounced that out to the outside? It looked like there was a decent job there on the left side of the line by holding off that defensive end. Potential opportunity to bounce left, but. Usually
when you get in a position like this, you give the ball to your best offensive player and you run behind your best offensive lineman. So, I'm going to guess St. Paul felt like they had an advantage on that left side. Now they are going to split 5 out here with Freeze in the shotgun, and timeout. Timeout going to be taken by the Rough Riders, as they did not like that setup that the Flyers had there. And
kudos to creative play calling. Make them burn a timeout. Had something creative in mind.
And I actually don't think that was Landon Freeze. I think that was Casey Freeze.
Casey Freeze.
Yeah, just the freshman.
Looked like the second he caught that ball, he was off to the races to the right side where he had some wide receivers blocking for him.
So big series of plays here for St. Paul, as they need 3 yards, and they need it in 2 plays, and they need it in a bad way. We talked about momentum. St. Paul steals some of that momentum with that big pass play to Rosberg down the line, but they got to finish off drives. Remember, that was one of our keys to the game. When you get in the red zone, you've got to score.
Yeah, I mean, good teams, when they get this close, their conversion rate's just very high. I would say St. Paul, known primarily for their running game, despite having a lot of it come through the air on this drive, got to finish something off when you're this close. 3rd and 3 on the 3.
And there it is, red zone
touchdowns.
TDs. So you can't settle for red zone field goals when you're trailing 20-0.
And I wouldn't even really think field goals on the menu here for the coaching staff for St. Paul.
4-down territory. I think the only way you even consider a field goal is if you get, caught for an 8-9-yard loss on a sack.
Sack or penalties start to add up, but hopefully we see a clean game here.
Freeze is in the Wildcat. 5 receiver set. They bring a man in motion. Freeze is keeping it. He's got room around the left side, and Freeze takes it into the end zone for the Flyer touchdown.
Chris, that's a creative play call there. Motion gets the linebacker moving for Western, completely takes him out of the play. Great play call. He had plenty of room to run. That motion was really important. Really got multiple defenders moving the other direction, gave him a lane to run. Excellent play calling there, and good run for Casey Freeze.
So St. Paul will bring on Nate Griffin for the extra point. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 6:44 to play here in the opening half, St. Paul has made it a little tighter, as in a drive they needed to score. They did. Timeout on the field. St. Paul now trails Western 20-7.
This after-touchdown timeout is brought to you by A. Miller Excavating. Using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders and businesses in Lorain and Erie County.
and like to thank a few of our sponsors here today, helping us bring this game to you. Find out more about State Representative Kellie Deeter by visiting kelliedeeter.com, clicking on the link below in the description. We also would tell you, proud supporters of all St. Paul athletes, it's RMH Concrete Foundations. And let's mention one more while we can here. That is proudly celebrating 140 years of community banking. That's Civista Wealth Management, all three of them proud supporters of St. Paul Flyer football and volleyball. Back we are to live action here in St. Paul now. You know, you got the momentum back. Now your defense needs to step up. The offense did their job. Defense needs to step up. Pooch kick here, and it's loose on the field. It's covered out there. Getting down there quickly was Raphael Gross. And Dom Edwards there covers that kick. I can't tell if it was Dom Edwards or Hayden Tobias. Whoever covered it, they did an excellent job.
Chris, this is, every drive's important in an important game as such. We just highlighted the importance of the last one. Does the momentum stay in St. Paul's favor after that recent touchdown, or does Western march down the field, score a touchdown, and say, hey, stop us if you can?
Well, we'll see here. Two in the backfield and turn, and they're going to hand it off, running with the football, Cooper Rowe. Rowe breaks a tackle, and Rowe's going to pick up 15 yards. So right now the ground game of the Western Reserve Rough Riders is just chewing up yards. Look at Rowe there.
Cut back and makes a guy miss.
Rowe's got the OSHA-approved bright yellow shoes and gloves out there.
Well, Flyer defenders should know who they're going up against when he has the ball.
That'd be good for an A. Miller Excavating first down, and that's the way you want to answer a touchdown. Handoff, Wiggle. Wiggle met in the backfield by a host of Flyers.
Good stop there. The defensive line for the St. Paul Flyers took absolutely nothing, pushed back on the Rough Riders, and met Wiggle right at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
River Couch also came in from his position. I think he's playing one of the linebacker positions, middle linebacker, to slow him down. So second down and 10. Western hasn't had much trouble even when it's been second and third and long. As we remember, in that second drive, they picked up a second and 32 and then a third and 13.
Friendly coverage here. Receivers do have a lot of room.
And a high, but there's that man, Brexton Freilich, as he goes up high to grab it. Take a look at this here.
A little bit of a floater, if I might add. Freilich does a good job to be able to come down with it there.
And that'll be a first down again. An A. Miller Excavating first down for the Rough Riders. And I think Western now, not only they're looking to tack on points, but they're looking at the clock going, you know, if we score, we want to limit St. Paul's amount of time to come back and add. That, you know, the best thing you can do in football is get the double-double, score, and Wiggle up the middle. Wiggle is going to take it down to the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touchdown, Landon Wiggle. Take a look here.
He might be a big boy, but, man, does he have the jets right through the middle, the heart of the defense.
And let me tell you, nobody touched him on that line. They opened up the parting of the Red Sea there, as that is good for a Western Reserve Rough Rider touchdown, and that is Landon Wiggle from 24 yards out. That'll be his third score of the game. He's had a 4-score game already. And they will go for 2, leading 26-7. They did leave St. Paul with a lot of time maybe to answer. Negro going to roll. He looks over the middle. He's got a receiver, and it's going to fall incomplete into the end zone. But Western adds another score with 5:10 to play here in the second quarter. The Rough Riders lead it again by 19, this time at 26-7.
This after-touchdown timeout is brought to you by A. Miller Excavating. Using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders and businesses in Lorain and Erie County.
NOMS Orthopaedics, servicing Norwalk and Sandusky, accepting new patients now. NOMS Access Orthopaedics. We'd also like to say thank you. Using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local businesses and municipalities in Lorain and Erie County. That is A. Miller Excavating LLC. And back we are here, live from Contractors Park, picking that up at the 15. And big stick there. Landon Freeze brought it out, and I think that might have been 24 for Western on the hit. Jackson Davidson, also Peyton Kirby on the hit, and the Flyers, again, we're back into that, almost into that rare air where it's a must time to score here. And again, you score here, tack another one on, and you get it down to a one-score game. So,
well, Western didn't take long to answer after their touchdown. I bet maybe 90 seconds in between the touchdowns. They went right down the field. How can St. Paul come back here?
First down and 10 from the 32. It's a toss to Pocus. He's got blockers out there, but Western closes quickly, and man, do they swarm to the football. Take a look at that.
Outside to the left.
That's Wiggle out there. Also out there, number 4, Cooper Rowe. And it ends up being no gain on the play. So
great
St. Paul
push there for the Rough Riders. Secondary also stepping up, filling the hole, and making that really tough. Those wide receivers that were out blocking for St. Paul were getting shoved around a little bit.
Casey Freeze going to come into the contest. Comes in with the play. Coonley's going to have 3 receivers split to the right, 2 to the left. He's got to watch that pass rush, and they're going to bring rush, and there's a throw caught by Landon Freeze, and it's going to be close to first down yardage.
Riders saying no, but the officials say yes. Oh,
now they're going to say no, as Landon not arguing it, and unfortunately, it's gone too long for me to play back the replay of that. Had I hit it right away, I would have been good, but that's going to set up third down now.
Landon had his hands on it at first. It bobbled. He did grab it afterwards. I think the officials were saying that when he did make that secondary catch of the ball, must have been touching the ground.
Isaac Kalashevsky comes in. Nick Pocus returns on third down and 10. Coonley, he is going to be bowled under in the backfield by the Rough Riders. Take a look at this Rough Rider rush. And that was just a 4-man rush there.
With the delayed 5th coming in, by that point, Coonley was already tackled. Really effective rushing scheme there for the defense.
Great job by this Western Reserve Rough Rider defensive and offensive line so far, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, you know St. Paul's going to have to try to throw the ball there. 3rd and 10 calls for it, but they still had a lot of secondary players back there to cover that, which made it difficult for Coonley to get anything out of his hands quickly.
Well, and right now you need a really good punt from Landon Freeze here, and he gets away
that is a good
beautiful punt. It's going to take Tobias back inside his 40, but he's got room to the outside. Good block there. Tobias outside the hash between the numbers, and he is going to get it into Flyer territory down to the 40.
Excellent block there by, I think it was Cooper Rowe.
That was Dom Edwards on that kick return, and the Rough Riders are going to take the ball back. First down and 10 with 3:52, and again, the way they're moving it, that's plenty of time for the Rough Riders to tack on another score.
Yeah, you'd be really bummed there as a St. Paul Flyer coverage team. You had a lot of guys there. I thought they had actually a pretty good coverage of the left and right side. Got a little bit too caught in, and one good block from Cooper Rowe and sprung open a nice opportunity down the right-hand side.
Handoff up the middle. Good for about 4 yards. A host of Flyers there for the tackle.
Whenever this game ends, I'm sure Wiggle's going to be tired afterwards. They're sure getting workhorse status out of him tonight.
So Wiggle gets 4 there. And again, very patient Rough Rider offense right now. Western used 1 timeout on the St. Paul scoring drive. Here's a backwards throw to Freilich. Freilich using that speed is going to get it down close to the 30. Let's take a look at that one.
Deciding here whether or not they're going to give him the first down or not, and they are now signaling for it.
That will be an A. Miller Excavating first down.
Again, credit
Backwards
to the creativity.
Throw, perfect throw.
I mean, how many different types of passes have we seen Migro make? How many different catches have we seen from Braxton Freilich? He's everywhere all over the field for touchdowns, for first downs, you name it.
Coach Stevenson really using his imagination in his play calling here with screens, backward passes, quarterback draws with guys out there. And Migro again, had he not gotten, had 56 for the Flyers, Cade Houck come in. That was going to go for a lot more. It will be second down. And again, the clock their friend right now.
Yeah, at this point you think, obviously Western's going to make an attempt to score this football, but I think the main goal here is there's going to be no more points for the Flyers unless there's some sort of turnover
Correct.
here.
And handoff, Wiggle, dragging Couch forward all the way to the 15-yard line. Take a look at that here on your NOMS Access Orthopaedics replay.
Couch makes great contact coming from way outside of the frame there. Does a really good job to close the gap, but you know, you've got a lot of head forward speed there for Wiggle and still is able to push forward for another yard or two.
So that's going to set up a first down, an A. Miller Excavating first down. We're inside 2 minutes. They're at the 15-yard line. And there's the quick pass. He's got blockers out in front. Gets past one Flyer. Casey Freeze was being blocked, shedded that block. See here. Sheds
a lot
the block,
of room there, Chris.
Yes.
They've got usually one or two other receivers that are out in a bunch, and they immediately turn and start blocking, and frankly, they've been doing an excellent job. I haven't seen a lot of the Flyer secondary break through and make contact pretty quickly. I mean, these aren't passes that are going 6-7 yards down
Correct.
the field. These are pretty neutral to the line of scrimmage.
So second down, 1:10 on the clock, and Western in control of the clock. So, and St. Paul going to get a timeout as they saw something right before the snap there, as they will get a timeout on the field. That will give us a chance to mention a few of our sponsors here today, providing high-quality community health care and improving the quality of health in families throughout their lifespan. Avita Home Health Hospice. We'd also like to say elevate your professional space with tailored cleaning solutions that promise unmatched quality and reliable. That's Pinnacle Building Services, and our first down sponsor here today also A. Miller Excavating. And you see there, if you're a Flyer fan, on that Kellie Deeter scoreboard, not good news as the Flyers trail at 26-7. If you're watching from home and you're a Western fan, you got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I would think so. One comment I'll add is, as we were both here for week one when the Flyers were down, I believe it was 29-7, feeling eerily similar where St. Paul just didn't get it going. They've always been, feeling like they've been second fiddle tonight. Is this an instance where maybe they come up for a stop and are able to probably not get the ball back and go down the field, but limit points here for Western and take that as a little bit of positive momentum into the halftime locker room speech that coach is going to have to give?
So it's second down and 4 from the 10-yard line. Migro handoff, wiggles his way down inside the 5 to about the 3. Let's take a look at that run here for Wiggle.
He's hungry for number 4 on the night. He's already got 3.
He had 51 and 52. Witherspoon and I can't read that, Brandon.
Austin Kolb.
And Kolb, they were pulling, and they opened up quite the hole there.
Running back like that doesn't need much of a hole, but when he gets one, you can count on it being a few extra yards to gain.
And that'll be a first down for the Rough Riders. Wiggle again. Wiggle goes into the end zone untouched.
4th on the night for Wiggle. This guy can't be stopped at the current moment, and Western's going to pick up another touchdown here before halftime, really putting the the gas right now to the Flyers.
Take a look at that wiggle touchdown run as he takes it into the end zone. And my, oh my, Western just manhandling St. Paul up front. And, you know, right now the St. Paul defensive backs, they're having to make all the tackles.
Yeah, and that's not what you want when you have really talented linebackers like St. Paul does. Just oftentimes Western's getting off that first primary block on the defensive line and able to move to the linebackers, making it tough for them to make plays here.
Migro, handoff, wiggle, and wiggle. Why not?
Copy, paste, same play right there.
For two more. We're going to keep it right here as we're 34 seconds away from halftime, and the Rough Riders have put up 34 points in what has just been an unbelievable offensive performance. I think the loneliest guy at Contractors Stadium right now is the Rough Rider punter, as he's yet to take the field.
Yeah, and kudos. I'd say there's been a lot of creative play calling, as we've mentioned, but at the end of the day, when you've got a workhorse back like Wiggle, snapping the ball back to your quarterback, handing it off, and watching them run down the field.
The most popular man in the building, Danny Grind, coming up here, and we'll take a look at maybe a little chocolate over there at halftime. We don't want to – I don't know if we want to ruin our Peens dinner. Back deep, Freeze and Pocus, and right now, this St. Paul team just got to be shell-shocked. Come in here with such great expectations, and, Western just used that first drive, got the momentum, and really have never looked back, Brandon.
Pre-game, I thought we were in for a very tight one.
Yes.
And on paper, I think lots of people would have predicted that. But, yeah, as we've mentioned a dozen times, everything's coming up Rough Riders right now.
River Couch returns it, and it'll be first down and 10.
River Couch makes my all-name list, doesn't it for you as well?
That's pretty good.
That's a good
name.
one.
Yes. So Flyers still have 2 timeouts remaining. Got to try and keep Coonley upright, as he's been sacked 2, maybe 3 times, but hey, you got to try and score.
With that leaves the opportunity for pressure on your quarterback, which we're seeing right now, smartly throwing the ball away. Looked like he had stepped out of the pocket.
Yeah.
Going to fall as an incomplete pass. Smart decision there from Coonley, as there were a couple of Rough Riders that had gotten through that line of scrimmage and were chasing him down.
Well, and I'm not sure now if maybe I just don't run it, hope Western doesn't call timeout, and I get into that locker room and, have a real strong heart-to-heart here with your team.
Yeah, as
no
much
matter
as
what happens in that third quarter, St. Paul's got to come out, though, and be tougher up front.
Absolutely. So as much as you'd like to say, like, hey, let's try to get some points on the board here, make a big play, I mean, you're running the same risk of it going the opposite direction.
Coonley straight back to pass, and Coonley gets out of one tackle. Now Coonley rolls, and he's going to keep it, and he'll just run out of bounds after about maybe a 2-yard gain. Take a look at Coonley here running for his life. He was wrapped up there by Jackson Davidson, and Coonley broke that tackle and eventually was able to run out of bounds.
Elusive with his feet, but, I mean, gosh, by the time he's in his 3 or 4 step drop back, he doesn't have time to look for a receiver because he's out there trying to find which Rough Rider defensive lineman secondary is going to hit him first.
When you see a team blitzing like that, the one play you can break it with is the screen. You let him come. Here's a throw on the outside to Rossford.
He's got room
here. Good catch. He's going to get down the sidelines, but there is a flag on the play, as I'm sure they're going to get a holding call on St. Paul right about the 45-yard line. And if so, that's going to back it up. And let's see. Coach Dowdy, doesn't have a whole lot to say. Down to 11 seconds now.
Looked like Western was playing a pretty conservative defensive style there, knowing that they could give up, yardage in reasonable chunks of 10 to 15 yards, but not looking to let them get really beat deep for the big play. at this point, the clock is tremendously working in Western's favor and directly against St. Paul. You've got 1, maybe 2 plays left unless you're able to get out of bounds here.
So 11 seconds to play here and a half, one that the St. Paul Flyers would love to forget, as Western has come into Contractors Stadium and just manhandled St. Paul 34-7. Coonley back to pass.
And
Davidson
he's still running for his life.
Has to jump, and he is going to be brought down in the backfield. Let's take a look at that, Brandon, here. Just an idea.
That's a 4-man rush against 6 or 7 Flyer offensive linemen. They had 6 or 7 guys deep to play extra special coverage to make sure nothing got over the top, and their defensive line were still able to get into the backfield.
And
that's
with that,
tough.
Yeah, we've come to the end of one half of football. It's all Western Reserve. At the half, it's Western 34 and Norwalk St. Paul 7.
I didn't think our staff would even notice that we switched cleaning companies, but they did right away. They noticed that the office was cleaner, that things were bright, more vibrant, and that created a more positive working environment for us. There's always a potential to spread illness if our building isn't as clean as it possibly could be. Having Pinnacle in our building to make sure that it's as clean and safe and healthy as it can be helps us take the best care of our patients. It's family owned and operated, they're local, which means a lot to us.
Avita Home Health and Hospice is locally owned, locally managed. All of our staff, our board, everybody are members of the local community. Our medical director is a member of our local community and has practiced in Bucyrus for over the last 10 years. When you call in, you're getting a local person. The nurses that you talk to all live, work, and recreate in your community. I mean, I've been doing this for 16 years and I've taken care of 3 generations of some families. We're the hometown people.
Those rushing yards includes the sacks.
You play Mohawk. One fumble.
Wow, really? I'm surprised. What did you have?
Two. Holding in the nutrition today. 70. No. Yards. No, 15. Every day this week. 5 and 10. Well, at least our band will play on the field.
Random funky. Well, no, John, then find your brother Paul.
Where those breadsticks from?
For the first annual Rider Roundup Band Festival at Western Reserve on October 4th at 6:30 p.m. The movie Beetlejuice has been a classic since its release in 1988. This spicy little tune even made an appearance in the 2019 musical of the same name. Originally made famous by singer Harry Belafonte in 1961, just conga along with the band to jump in the line.
You know where it is?
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Wrestler
I'll try to.
Oh, shit. Before it was over?
The guy who got the he was
Introducing the St. Paul Marching Brass under the direction of Mr. Jacob Conley and Mr. Robert Futro. The band is led on the field tonight by President Ali Takis, Vice President Chloe Hazelwood, and Secretary Jillian Wellnow. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 Marching Flyers. Tonight we present to you some brand new songs featuring rock tunes from different generations. We begin with a 1967 song from Bob Dylan, made even more famous in 1968 by Jimi Hendrix. The song features a conversation between a joker and a thief, and it was named the 40th greatest song of all time on Rolling Stone's most recent list. This arrangement by Tom Wallace takes the Hendrix cover and spices it up even more, doing the song total justice. Please enjoy our band opening with a rousing and unique rendition of All Along the Watchtower. With our second act, we take it from the 60s folk rock to 2000s band rock. The following song is a 2007 hit by Foo Fighters. It ended up being one of their most successful songs, peaking at number 37 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. Here's our band's take on The Pretender.
That's why he keeps on watching?
I just saw
He keeps on watching.
I showed the crack. He doesn't follow tonight here. Probably why I did. He has
2015 smash hit from Fall Out Boy. After a 3-year hiatus starting in 2010, Fall Out Boy came back onto the scene in a big way with this last song. Certified as triple platinum by the end of the year, the song was named Sirius XM's #1 song of 2013 and is still instantly recognizable 12 years later. It's one of those songs that's just impossible to not sing along to. For our final act tonight, we hope you'll enjoy our band lighting it up with My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark.
Foundation for joining us for our halftime conversation. Before we get into our halftime numbers and some sports weather games, how about a little St. Paul band action for you? Everybody?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear for your St. Paul marching brass.
All right, halftime show. Marching band as we move now into our RMH Concrete and Foundations halftime show, which, Brandon, that's a first 24 minutes that Coach Chris Dowdy and his Flyers would like to forget.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything, as we've said, time and time again, came up Western, and, you know, St. Paul has put themselves into a very, very difficult hole to climb out of here in the second half.
Let's take a look at some of those stats in the first half there. Brandon, show us the numbers.
Well, for the Riders, you've got 13 first downs compared to 3 for St. Paul, 117 passing yards compared to 62, 174 rushing yards for the Riders against 8 for the Flyers. Now that does
correct
as you're signaling
I think
to me.
3, maybe 4 sacks.
So there's definitely some yardage not being factored in for the running backs as they've been sacked a few times. But I mean, look at the total yardage and tell me how close of a game this is in scoring.
Correct.
I mean, you look at those numbers and you would think that these scores are pretty fair.
They got 4 times the yardage. They got 5 times the points basically.
Sure. Penalties being not too far of a difference, 3-2. I will say Westerns have all been bigger penalties, 2 10-yarders and 1 15-yarder, but that has not stopped them from putting a butt whooping thus far onto the St. Paul Flyers.
Yeah, so St. Paul trailing again at the half here, 34-7. We're going to keep it right here as we're a couple minutes to go in halftime. We'll take a look around the area and try to give you some other scores in the area. Don't forget, big game Guardians fans, is what once was a Tigers 14.5 game lead. The Guardians have trimmed now to a 3.5 game lead, just 3 in the loss column. So Guardians playing some great baseball. Amazing, Brandon, that they're able to do it with such a small payroll. And basically a second-year, manager.
Yeah, I mean, over the last 10 games, they're the hottest team in baseball, 9-1. I think winners of 7 or 8 in a row. Very, very interesting to your point. I know I get very heated over the conversation of I think there should be a minimum floor for spending. People are oftentimes concerned at the top end. As a fan of that sport, you kind of wish that there was a floor that they had to spend to.
Some scores in the area. The Perkins Pirates coming into tonight at 1-3 really need a very tough non-conference schedule, though. They lead the Bellevue Redmond 27-0. That in the third quarter. Tiffin Columbian being shut out. Tiffin Columbian last year had to go to the defending Division III champion Columbus Bishop Watterson. They lost at 81-7. So they're happy to see the Huron Tigers. Addison leads Norwalk at the half, 28-14. Also in the SBC Lake Division, it's Vermilion 30, Sandusky 7. South Central in the Firelands Conference hanging with Ashland Crestview at the half at 17-7. The TY Tigers of Mansfield lead New Philadelphia right now 12-7. Willard Flashes trail Woodmore in SBC River Division action 41-12. It's the Galleon Tigers out on top of the Ontario Warriors 7-0. Tiffin Calvert, who lost a tough one 22-20 to St. Paul, leads Lakota 14-7. Macomb out on top of Ada 28-0. Mohawk has a running clock versus Bucyrus as they lead at 48-7. The Northwood Rangers trail the Margaretta Polar Bears. That's Western Reserve's only loss, was that loss to Margaretta as they lost 21-0. It's 49-0 there. And with that, let's see, Upper Sandusky leads Winford 23-14. Monroeville out on top of New London at the half, 48-6. Pretty much wraps up the high school football scoring, and at the half, if we get any of those final numbers as they come in, we'll let you know about it. But again, we want to thank RMH Concrete Foundations. They're our pregame, halftime, and postgame show, and great family there. We see several of them down here watching their sons and nephews and grandsons as Levi Rosbert, number 31 for them, out there for St. Paul, as the Flyers looking to have a more productive second half here as they will get the ball to start this third quarter.
Chris, you'd say if St. Paul wants to make any sort of noise in the second half, it's got to start here on this opening kickoff, because the time is going to start to work against them. We've seen how slow Western are willing to play if need be, letting that clock wind down. So it's going to have to be quick for St. Paul. Fault lies on both ends when you're getting blown out like this. We can sit here and say the offense just hasn't done enough to score, but again, Western hasn't punted yet, so St. Paul's defense really needs to step up here if they're going to have any chance. St. Paul can't put they're not going to score enough if they allow Western to get 14 and, Western puts up 48. St. Paul's got to pitch a shutout or maybe just one touchdown to have the opportunity here. And the kick, it gets past Landon Freeze, and there's a lot of Rough Riders back there, and he is going to be brought down inside the 10-yard line. Actually, they'll say just got out over the 10, and that's where the St. Paul Flyers will take over. First down and 10. They're going to have to go a long way on this field. If I'm the Western kicker, I'm strolling to the sideline with a little bit of a swag walk. Right. That ball took a really nice bounce for me and gave my defense a lot more of a hungry appetite to go here and get the St. Paul team here. It's short yardage. See a couple of the St. Paul volleyball players down in front of us here. Lily Kuturik, she was our Lake Erie Construction MVP in the match against New London.
And we will have the St. Paul volleyball team in a big game against Mohawk. Mohawk, one of the 2 teams to beat Monroeville, who will be one of the favorites to win the Division 7 state championship. We will have the second game. St. Paul goes 6-1 in the first half of the Firelands Conference. Monroeville goes 7-0. We will have that game at the Father Harvey Keller Gymnasium in what will be for the Firelands Conference title.
Those are 2 schools with some pretty good pedigree in that sport.
Yeah, and also they'll be honoring Nancy Miller, longtime coach. And there's a loose ball. It's going to be picked up by St. Paul, now getting some yardage, actually. He's going to be brought down in the backfield, but he picked that ball up around the 5 or the 4-yard line.
Definitely a backwards pass, so that was a live ball there for a second. Does, as you mentioned, it looks like maybe just able to get back maybe a yard or 2 loss, but was definitely going for 5 or 6 negative.
Obviously, it was a backward pass because if it was forward, they would have ruled it incomplete.
Yes.
So 3rd down for the Flyers, and the worry here is that Western has brought a heck of a pass rush here tonight, and you got to keep Coonley upright here.
Only 5 down linemen. It looks like they might be bringing the house.
And there's a quick pass, and boy, breaking on that pass. Let's take a look at that on replay here.
Levi Rosper, it looks like, was the intended target as he was running a quick little in route.
Number 4, Cooper Rowe. I think Cooper was thinking more about making the hit, on the offensive player, and it was thrown behind Rosper, and that will set up the Flyers in 4th down.
That's a tough spot for Levi there. If he catches that ball, he is in some traffic, and some guys were licking their chops to try to lay a big hit down on him right around where I think the first down marker would have been.
The Rough Riders going to get the ball back here, and Rough Riders now thinking running clock. On the run, Dom Edwards going to catch it at the 40. Going to be swarmed under.
Woo!
And I don't know. Good tackle there. It almost looked like he got him by the face mask, but he didn't.
I think he got him from up underneath the shoulder pads is what I think. And Nate Sandor. Hello, how are you doing? That's a nice tackle there.
So let's see if the Flyers can come up here and get their first stop. Incidentally, it doesn't get any easier for Western. They get to go home next week, but they said this was a 3-team race. It was St. Paul, Western, and Monroeville. Western hosts Monroeville next Friday. We will have it live and free on the OH.REPORT. Turn handoff Wiggle, and Wiggle's going to get inside the 40, down inside the 35, down to the 33. 5 more yards for Wiggle.
That is a guy that's confident lower in the shoulder pads. I mean, we've seen it a dozen plus times already tonight. If you're going one-on-one with him, you better get low because he's going to drop those shoulder pads, and he runs with some force.
So, again, Western, carrying out the game plan that they started there. They get to the line of scrimmage, 25 seconds on the play clock. They wait till it gets down here. They snapped it with 11. Migro's going to keep it. Migro's got room around left edge, and he is going to get ahead for a Miller Excavating first down. And I'm to you, Brandon. You had mentioned at some point in the second quarter, with a starting quarterback Hayden Keith out. I think I'm trying to keep Migro up on his feet as much as I can.
I say that, but then I watch him run, and he's an excellent runner. You would not think for a second that this was your backup quarterback. He's looked excellent when throwing the ball. Hasn't had to be called on to do that too many times, but has looked serviceable in all areas as he's breaking out to the left here again for a run.
It and Wiggle. And there's a flag on the field, but Wiggle takes it in for the Rough Rider touchdown. But let's take a look here.
Keep an eye on, I think that might be Brexton holding onto Levi Rospert there at the left side.
Well, I saw 75 also for Western, or 75 getting held, Adam Dowdell. So that one's going to come back as there is a flag on the field. We've got laundry, and you would say from St. Paul's standpoint, that was the one thing they, at least they were disciplined as far as pre-snap penalties and penalties. They only had 2 penalties for 15 yards, where the Rough Riders now twice as many penalties with 4.
Yeah, and giving up a huge play. I mean, that's a touchdown right there that swiped off the board.
Throw on the outside. It's caught out there, and I think that was Rosbert making the tackle. Hayden Tobias on the catch. Got to set up second down.
Colton Migro right on the money. Again, we just had a second there to talk about him, how impressive he's been despite being the backup. Just putting all of these balls right on the money. Now, I will say there's a little bit of a generous cushion here from the St. Paul defense on these wide receivers, but kudos to Migro for putting the ball right on him.
Wiggle gets a block on the outside. Wiggle breaks one tackle, gets it down inside the 15, inside the 10, to about the 9. Take a look at
Wiggle
that.
runs over his own guy here. Watch this on the wide receiver.
He ran over his own wide receiver and picked up 4 more. That's what they call yak, yards after contact. It's just not supposed to be your guy.
Don't get in his way, even friendlies. That's tough.
So the Rough Riders first down and goal just inside the 10.
Penalty doesn't hold them back from moving up the field.
No, Wiggle's that's Cooper Rose going to take it. And ball loose on the field. Fumble, and it looks like the Flyers have come up with it. See if we can take a look at that here, Brandon. Big time stick there by Landon Freeze.
Great hit.
Great hit by Landon Freeze, and on the turnover, that's going to give the Flyers the football back. And I think they started, the last time did they start at the 9-2 on that kickoff that got under Freeze's hands?
Pinched just a little bit farther back this time. But, yeah, I mean, the Flyers have had not a lot of room to operate thus far on the second half drives that they've had.
So the Flyers trail by 27. They have the football back here with 8:36 to play third quarter, and they'll go with that tight set. I think they're going to see if they can try to maybe run the football here. Don't forget that. Coonley back, looks, and Coonley going to go down. He tries to throw it, and they're going to say incomplete. Little surprised they didn't give him the safety. They're going to say incomplete.
At the same point there, I kind of think that looked like, might not see it on the replay there. I saw what looked like a little bit of a grab on his face mask as he made a play out of the pocket. Really hard to pick that up from the official's point of view, but wow, what a job to not be able to go down there and take the safety. Very impressive.
Well, and boy, passing right now is difficult for the Flyers as Western defensive line and some linebackers making it hard on Norwalk St. Paul. Coonley straight back, looks, now he's got to roll right, looks, throws it back late over the middle, and it's caught out there. And it's going to go for first down yardage out to about the 19.
Landon Freeze in on the catch.
There's Freeze.
He lines up all over the field. He'll play running back. He'll split out and catch balls as a receiver. Really helpful player there for the Flyers.
Thank you to Access Orthopaedics for that replay, as the Flyers needed that. A. Miller Excavating, first down.
I'm getting tired of just seeing Coonley's legs moving so much. He's been running for his life this whole time. I'm tired up here sitting down in a chair looking at it.
Well, the good thing for St. Paul on that stop is, you give up a touchdown, you have a running clock, and it's 41-7. You have zero chance of coming back on a running clock, down 34. So, if they can piece something together here, they can, cut it to a 3-score game.
Trying to do some inventive play calling there, having, I believe that was Casey Freeze line up at the Wildcat. Pick up a couple of yards, setting up for 2nd and 7 here.
Pocus comes back into the game on 2nd down and 7 from their own 22-yard line. No scoring here in the second half.
Little trickery here.
Yeah, a little end around there as they hand it off to Levi Rosbert. And Rosbert's going to get out maybe a yard gain, as that was good defense there by the Rough Riders as they stayed disciplined.
Stayed home. The coach always teaches you got to watch where the ball goes because you need to stay home on a play like that. Tom Edwards, after making that tackle, get up and fist pump there. He's fired up.
I do like that St. Paul, getting into that playbook here, though, in the third quarter, trying some things here, to make this Western Reserve defense bend. Looking, he's rolling. I thought he was getting held, was freeze. The throw is late.
And there it comes in.
There comes the penalty. And
felt like it was there the entire play. Coonley did signal for him to start going further. You see his hand, hey, go further, Landon, I need you to create some separation.
And I'm not so sure that was pass interference, but about 5 seconds before he threw it, they were holding freeze.
Yeah, definitely.
So pass interference, another penalty on Western, but again.
Automatic first down.
Yeah, that'll be an A. Miller Excavating first down, but the Rough Rider faithful across the way don't like it. And, hey, I kind of get it. I don't think it was pass interference. I think it was holding while, Coonley was getting out of the pocket.
Yeah, I think the result of the play where it ends up getting marked is correct. Maybe the description that they use to describe the infraction might not be what I would have done.
4 receivers set with Pocus offset Coonley to the left. Looking. They're going to throw it downfield. There's Rosbert out there and almost made the circus
Another
catch.
one, absolutely. I don't really see what the Rough Rider defenders here are complaining about. The angle that we had, it looked like he was draped all over top of him. Seeing a lot of reaction there from the Rough Rider secondary. I can't believe it. To me, it looked like an infraction, although they're checking about it right now at the 50-yard line.
Well, we'll see if they stick with it or if they pick up the flag. I believe it's marked off, so they are going to go pass interference on the Rough Riders. And again, I get it. You're a Western Reserve defensive back out there. You're playing your heart out there today. And, they thought they made a good play, and they were a little upset. But I think –
offsetting call, though, on the offense. So it ends up going to being a replay of the down.
But I think, as a player, and it's hard to do when you're 15, 16, you want to keep your composure, which they have. Here's a man open down the field, but he's going to trip over his own feet.
Levi had actually
out there,
Levi Rosbert had actually gotten past his defender. As you could see, he's got yards of separation, but must have stumbled over the turf monster there. He's a greedy son of a gun.
Yeah, the turf monster took Levi down. And that's going to set up 2nd down and 10 for the Flyers. You can see there on the Kellie Deeter state representative scoreboard. Western looking to move to 4-1 and 2-0 in the Firelands Conference. St. Paul hoping to make a frenzied comeback. Let's not forget, they trailed 37-9 against Port Clinton in their home opener.
Well, the playbook has been all past this drive. Seeing a little bit more of it right now. Good ball.
Quick pass to Rosbert. Rosbert gets past one man. And let's take a look at that, Brandon, on the NOMS Access Orthopaedics replay.
Hardly even a drop, one drop step back, finds Rosbert, and there's room to run, makes a man miss, and cuts the ball upfield for a first down and a very nice gain there.
That's an A. Miller Excavating first down, and St. Paul, I think, have doubled up their first downs now from the first half. They'll make that quick throw again to Rosbert. Oh, this time Western comes out and somebody laid the boom out there. I think it was Hayden Tobias, number 10.
Rosbert does kind of roll off it, as you'll see here. 2 guys boom, and then he does make a little bit of a move to at least get a yard maybe. But he was looking like he was going to be held maybe even behind the line of scrimmage. I'm interested to see. We haven't seen a whole lot of quick passes thus far leading up before this drive for the Flyer offense. Good to see them mixing them in.
So 2nd down and 9 for the Flyers. Coonley in the shotgun, looks, rolls, coming and just has to throw it at the last second, as bearing down on him for the Rough Riders was Austin Kolb, 52, 5'10", 165, and he was bringing some speed there, wanting to make a hit.
Looked like Hayden Tobias was also in the area. Saw him throw the incomplete sign up afterwards. Definitely a favorite of defensive backs all over anytime a pass drops incomplete.
So in what's certainly 4-down territory, you'd have to suspect that maybe Western's going to bring some pressure here. So, maybe wide receiver screen or a screen to your back here. Western showing blitz up at the line, and they're bringing the blitz. And Coonley's got to roll out. He tosses it out there, and it's intercepted.
They're going to say that he is out of bounds.
Let's take a look here.
Just from my angle, it did look like it. We'll see. Ball's kind of just chucked up into the middle of two defenders, but I don't think he comes down in bounds. That's a great angle there from our camera crew.
Came down out of bounds, and it's going to set up fourth down. Certainly situation here where St. Paul's going to go, trailing 34-7, and I'm not sure, not an official timeout on the field, but the officials are meeting out there.
I'm surprised that the Flyers didn't look left there when that play had happened. They had three receivers split out.
The problem was the blitz came in and rolled him out to the right side, and there was no way he had time to look back to the left.
I'm almost wondering if that was somehow a screenplay that got blown up, because it seemed like every defensive lineman had gotten through.
So here we go, fourth down for the Flyers. They need 9. Western shows blitz again. Coonley's rolling, looked, and he is stripped of the football. It's going to be fumbled, and they're going to say incomplete pass. Let's take a look at that on replay there.
The question is his arm moving forward, or is it slapped out of him? It looks like he's starting the forward motion. There is a flag down here in the secondary for the Rough Riders.
Sometimes that could be a defensive holding, but one thing we've seen now, and we've seen it for 2.5 quarters, St. Paul needs to figure out a way to get the ball out of Coonley's hands quicker and basically offset this rush that Western Reserve is putting on. Dead ball, but it was after the turnover, so
the yards will be factored in, but Western's going to have the football.
Take the penalty, and again, about the only thing Coach Stevenson can look at and be mad about right now is the penalty situation, because his team playing some fantastic football.
Some fantastic football, and I mean, you see it. There's maybe a little bit too much action there after the play, but these guys are fired up. They're showing a lot of emotion.
It's a rivalry game, and
very animated from the players. Yeah. But gosh, I'd rather have my guys fired up than not enough.
So Rough Riders come out again, fumbled on the 5-yard line last time down, or we would probably be halfway through the fourth quarter at this point, as they would have had a running clock.
See ya.
There's Cooper Rowe up the middle.
He won't be touched.
Rowe, Rosberg chasing him, 20, 15, 10, 5,
Whoa!
And Rosberg with the effort chases him down. Let's take a look at that here.
Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. He absolutely goes right through. I don't even think he's touched. He's going to have 0 yards after contact despite an incredibly long run, but Levi showing the closing speed.
Wow, that is some heart and effort from Levi Rosberg there. And that will be as negative a play it was, that will be a play that Coach Dowdy can say, this is the kind of effort we need.
Gosh, I mean, how big would some sort of a turnover, defensive stand here by the Flyers when it looked like that was a guaranteed 6 points?
Cooper Rowe flashing some of that speed. And those bright yellow, metallic, what do they call them?
Highlighter colors is what it looked like to me.
Yeah, highlighter colors look like rocket boosters on him as
he has been exceptionally quick, and we've seen it through inside runs. We've seen it in outside runs. He's really been able to be effective. You've got a very interesting 1-2 punch with him.
Timeout. We're going to keep it right here and mention some of our sponsors here tonight, as we want to talk about Kellie Deeter, state representative. Visit kelliedeeter.com, find out more about our state representative. We'd also like to thank RMH Concrete Foundations Incorporated, proud supporters of all St. Paul athletes. Civista Wealth Management, proudly celebrating 140 years of community banking, and also Orthopaedic Services in Norwalk and Sandusky, accepting new patients now. We're at, that's NOMS Access Orthopaedics. While we have time, let's tell you our first down sponsor tonight. Using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders and municipalities in Lorain and Erie County. That is A. Miller Excavating, providing high-quality community health care and improving the quality of health in families throughout their lifespan is Avita Healthcare. So we got in all but one, which we'll mention again here as we move into the fourth quarter. So trying to get the running clock here, get their fans back to Wakeman earlier. And Rowe's going to take it, and Rowe is
he's going to be close.
They're going to say stopped at the goal line. And I think that was Coach Stevenson saying, you know what, Rowe got us down here. Let's give him the opportunity to get it in the end zone.
Gosh, I'd still be out of breath if I was him. But
yeah.
These guys recover quickly, and it looks like he's staying in the backfield here, maybe going to give him one more chance before they bring in Wiggle.
Second down and goal from the 1. And Rowe straight up the middle.
Great tackle
brought
for
down by
Abel Couch.
Couch.
Wow, does he fly to the ball so quickly. You'll see it here on replay. He comes from actually the other side. He was left up. He was lined up as it looked like almost a left outside linebacker and shoots across the entire scheme right there. That's
I wouldn't
impressive.
be surprised. They move Rowe now to the slot. Don't be surprised if they don't run it back to Rowe here and use Wiggle. Yeah, they're going to let Wiggle take it, and Wiggle's going to fall into the end zone. No signal yet.
But I'm seeing a flag here on the right-hand side of your screen. False start is the call. Wow, the Rough Riders are racking up penalties and penalty yards here.
And that false start is going to move them back to the 7-yard line where they'll have third down and goal. And again, not sure if they have a kicker. I think I watched them kick it a couple times in that Winford game, but
7th penalty on the night for the Rough Riders. Coach has got to be frustrated about that.
Okay, while I can real quick, I am going to tell you, elevate your professional space with tailored cleaning solutions that promise unmatched quality. That's Pinnacle Services. So now I've got them all in. Let's see here. They're going to run that clock down, and I think they snapped it late. They'll throw it, and Rowe is going to get his touchdown. Certainly looked like it came after the clock, but let's take a look at that on the replay here.
Creative play call. You're catching it looked like the secondary or the linebackers there for St. Paul sleeping. A little bit of motion. He was lined up in the backfield. Is he going to be a running back? Is he going to split out and be a receiver? Ends up catching a touchdown pass in the end.
A Western Reserve touchdown. That's an A. Miller Excavating touchdown. And Western going to keep the offense out there as the clock now a running clock per OHSA rules as the Flyers trail 40-7. And Wiggle's going to take it, and he's going to be stopped short of the goal line, but with 2:10 remaining here, third quarter from Whitney Field at Contractors Stadium, it is all Rough Riders. Western leads it 40-7.
This after touchdown timeout is brought to you by A. Miller Excavating. Using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders and businesses in Lorain and Erie County.
And back we are here, Contractors Stadium, a running clock. So if St. Paul can't figure out a way to push it across the end zone. We're going to be out of here in about 16 minutes. Kick is away, end over end. It takes a Rough Rider bounce, and Western Reserve looks like they've covered it.
That is the longest offside kick recovery.
Take a look at it here.
Onside kick recovery I've ever seen. Wow, what a bounce. It goes backwards. Flyer coverage team got to be better there.
Yeah, nobody. Someone letting the ball go over their head. No one else coming up from the backside.
I mean, you can sit here and complain about the bounce till the cows come home, but I mean, gosh, you got to have people around the ball.
That one will be a teaching moment in practice this week that Coach Dowdy can point to and say, this can't happen again. You know, hey, St. Paul's not going to come back and win this game, but the playoffs are still in front of them. They'll probably be a favorite to win at least the next 4. What happens with Monroeville, I don't know. There goes Migro. Migro pops it up the middle, and Migro's going to get it inside the 15. Take a look here. Colton Migro.
Designed run from the outset. Couple of steps back just for show, get the defense scrambling back for a pass play, but immediately up the gut right after that. He has been really effective with his feet tonight, a very quick player.
And that good for a Miller Excavating first down. There's a pass on the outside. Good defense out there by the Flyers. It's going to go for about 4 yards. Hayden Tobias again on the catch. Take a look at this hit by St. Paul. Casey Freeze, and then cleaning it up for the Flyers, number 9, Wyatt Hauser.
I've been impressed. I think the Rough Rider wide receivers have done really well with what's came their way, whether it's the short screen passes that they're turning up for positive yards or even some of the plays that they've been running a little bit deeper.
So they will have to run one more play here, and it's going to be a wiggle run up the middle, wiggle pushing inside the 5.
Close to a first down here.
Close to a first down, and with that, we are going to come to the end of the third quarter of football. As right now, Western putting a whooping on St. Paul. At the end of 3, it's Western 40 and St. Paul 7.
Every time that we walk in, we know we're going to walk into a place that's very clean, and when we walk in, we have a professional environment to come to. The reliability of Pinnacle is always on the spot. We've been with them 16 years so far. They're committed, they are professional, they are very transparent with their pricing, and they excel at meeting every goal and every need we have.
We return to Whitney Field here at Contractors Stadium as the Rough Riders have it 3rd down and 2. Again, looking to add another score here as they lead it 40-7, and we're in a running clock situation here. And they're going to let Rowe cuts back. Rowe pushing forward. He's going to get maybe the 3. It'll
Very
be
close here.
It's going to set up 4th down and a little bit 4th down, maybe half a yard.
Good defensive stand. I mean, Cooper Rowe is a quick back.
Yes, he
is.
is.
Almost feels like he's a wide receiver when he's carrying the ball. He's so quick, and the defense does a really good job there on a 3rd and short to really hold him up.
You'd have to think this is inside handoff to Wiggle. No, it's student body left and getting down, diving forward, and I think getting the first down was Colton Migro. Let's take a look at that on replay here.
Had to bounce really far outside. It looked like there was actually a pretty good push there by the defensive line there.
And they will say it's good for an A. Miller Excavating first down, and Western going to take all the time in the world they need. I can tell you in the SBC Lake Division, Perkins throws a shutout on Bellevue, 41-0. Edison leading Norwalk 38-14. Vermilion over Sandusky 37-0. Crestview has moved their lead out to 30-7. And Wiggle's going to get it. Wiggle's going to cut it back to the middle of the field, and he goes in standing up for the Rough Rider touchdown.
Number 5 on the night for Wiggle. He is having himself a heck of a game.
Wiggle left, Wiggle right, Wiggle up the middle. It's been Landon Wiggle and the Colton Migros show here tonight. And see if Western, I don't know if they're bringing out their, it looks like they're going to kick it. I see the tee coming out.
No better time to practice when
the
game's pretty far out of reach like this. Good special teams opportunities here for the coaching staff to get to work on.
A little surprised the official hasn't asked for the play clock yet. This Western getting all the time in the world they need. Now they'll start it. So on to attempt the extra point, Kohler Graves. He is a junior, 140-pound.
With Brexton Freilich holding for him.
Snap is back. It's good, and it's going to be blocked. And the point attempt is blocked. But timeout on the field with 9:54 to play. It's all Rough Riders, 46-7.
Every time that we walk in, we know we're going to walk into a place that's very clean, and when we walk in, we have a professional environment to come to. The reliability of Pinnacle is always on the spot. We've been with them 16 years so far. They're committed, they are professional, they are very transparent with their pricing, and they excel at meeting every goal and every need we have.
And back we are here at Contractors Park. I want to thank everybody here at St. Paul, Athletic Director John Livengood, Danny Grine, who always takes care of us. Flyers going to run it back. And St. Paul right now just looking for a little momentum, you know, as probably going to be the last time they touch the ball on a running clock.
Running
even if
clock.
They score, they're not going to get it under 30. So, you know, come out here, try to establish a drive and try to put points on the board.
Yeah, running clock's going to make this fourth quarter fly. You know, as we've mentioned, game out of reach at this point. So, you know, these are live opportunities to work on things, work on stuff from your playbook. Maybe rotate players and give guys a chance, give guys a look that otherwise wouldn't. You know, I think there's still a lot of important snaps to be had here for both teams.
And we've got the freshman backfield in there right now as it's Freeze and Couch in there. And that is Abel Couch on the carry. He's going to pick up 2, and it's going to set up 2nd down and 8 out at the 46-yard line. I do see a few different numbers out there for the Western Reserve Rough Riders, so maybe rotating in a few, you know, different defenders. You still see Cooper Rowe out there. You still see Brexton Freilich. I'm trying to see if I see Wiggle out there. I think maybe we've got some new linebackers in there, but they're keeping the DBs back there to prevent anything, from going long on them. Turn handoff, running Freeze, and Freeze stays on his feet like a battering ram and is going to go down.
He's still not down.
Still on his feet. Take a look at this Casey Freeze run here.
Wow. Very, very quick right out of the backfield. Gets the ball. There's room to run to the right. Gets run into it, looked like for a really good hit by the defense, but keeps chopping the feet, going, and he's still up.
And that's good for a Flyer first down as it's inside the 30. Casey Freeze, you know, this backfield here of Freeze and Couch, they're going to be together for a while.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at two talented backs. I mean, the depth of the running game here for St. Paul is pretty impressive.
Freeze cuts it back up the middle. He's going to be met by a host of receivers. I see Freilich getting up off the pile.
I'm impressed with Freeze there. You know, doesn't have the biggest presence in terms of size.
I saw 89 Mason Jarrett there in on the tackle from his left defensive end position.
Freeze, despite not being the largest back, very, very quick, but, I mean, he took a couple of bigger hits there on that run and really kept the feet moving and gained a bunch of yards for St. Paul.
And Coonley looking, he's going to throw it. He's got Rosbert out there. It's just out of the outstretched arms of Levi Rosbert. Take a look at that attempt here.
Coonley throwing the towel away. Nice play action, double fake. The guy was open, just a little bit too much mustard on that pass. Levi giving a really good attempt to try to bring down that ball, but a little too far out in front of him.
Going to set up second down for the Flyers as they've reached the Rough Rider 27 and running clock here as we approach the halfway part of the fourth quarter here in what is going to be a fun night back in Collins and Wakeman. There's on the carry there. Was that Couch?
Abel Couch. You know, after watching him have a couple of big hits on defense, it's fun seeing him grab the ball on offense. You know, after, you see these guardian caps on players, and you think a guy that hits so hard on defense and runs so hard on offense, it's probably good it's on a cap like him.
And I'm looking out there. I see maybe one, maybe two Western defensive starters out there now. So I think Cooper Rowe's still out there. They're going to hand it off to Freeze. Freeze is going to cut it back middle, and he's going to reach the 10-yard line where he's going to be brought down. And it will bring up second down. Western rotating lineman in right now. Jarrett comes out and into the game. I believe 55, Keegan Case. Handoff straight up the middle, Couch. Couch pushing forward. Going to get down all the way inside the 5. Good for a Miller Excavating first down. And Brandon, St. Paul's at least moved the ball a little bit better here in the second half. They really, had they not hit on that one big passing play in the first half, they were stoned on offense.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on this drive, maybe not getting Western's best defenders out there, but
correct.
I would argue the same for probably some of the offensive players here for St. Paul, and moving the ball well, as we see. I believe that's
Casey
Freeze getting into the end zone. You don't just see one Freeze oftentimes scoring for the Flyers, but they've got two of them that can do it.
Let's take a look here as Freeze is going to score from, looks like about the 2-yard line. So Freeze takes it into the end zone for the second touchdown for the Flyers. Now coming in to add the point after, Nate Griffin, the left-footed kicker. Hold is down, the kick is up, and it splits the uprights as Griffin gets the extra point for the Flyers. Timeout on the field, running clock here, 3:54 remaining. Rough Riders lead at 46-14.
This after-touchdown timeout is brought to you by A. Miller Excavating. Using the latest technology to provide a full range of earth-moving services for local builders and businesses in Lorain and Erie County.
And back we are here at Whitney Field, Contractors Stadium. Casey Freeze goes in for his second touchdown run of the game. That one from 2 yards out. Nate Griffin adds the PAT, and the Flyers trail 46-14. You assume they're going to go onside here as the good hands team for the Rough Riders.
Why not?
6 on the front line, 4 in row 2, and 1 guy back. St. Paul will kick away. I think that's Braxton Freilich who's back there. He's going to take it on the 14 and moves it middle, spins out of a tackle, and then he is going to be brought down.
I think that was
actually
Kohler
it was number
Graves.
8, Kohler Graves. Hey, Graves was the one who attempted the extra point the last time. Hey, good news from Minnesota right now. It's Gardos all the time as the Cleveland Guardians lead Minnesota 2-0 in the 4th inning as just picked up a sweep of the Detroit Tigers.
Now that's hopefully a score that both sides on the field here can rally around.
I don't know, Brandon, do you find it coincidence that when we look at teams in Michigan, they're all named after cats? We have the Detroit Lions, the Detroit Tigers, and the Michigan Cheetahs.
It's pretty interesting there,
Pretty
Chris.
interesting, isn't it?
Fun fact of the day.
Yes.
Excellent work there.
So running clock here at Western, probably going to have to run 3 or 4 plays here. And there's a handoff. That's Jackson Davidson. He can run with the football. He had one of the best runs I've seen on the season when he broke about 6 tackles against Winford, went in from 32 yards out. But St. Paul doing a nice job there stopping him. And that's going to take us down. Actually, they're stopping the clock for an injury right now. We are going to keep it right here. We'll
don't have a number yet on that, but it is a Western player. Trying to get a number for you guys.
Hopefully
and
he's able to get up.
Quickly we see members of their team get down to one knee, so unfortunately this might be something a little bit more severe than just a cramp.
Let's hope it's not, as it looks like right now they attend to his right ankle, but take a look at some of the other scores in the area. 4th quarter score, the Huron Tigers are at Frost Calnell Stadium. They lead at 13-9. Again, Edison up on Norwalk, 38-14. The TY Tigers from Mansfield lead New Philly, 12-7. 3rd quarter score, Galleon 7, Ontario nothing. Tiffin Calvert 28, Lakota 7, and happy to report the injured Rough Rider able to get up and walk off to a good round of applause, and he's over on the sidelines.
That was number 74, Austin Wolf, was able to get up under his own feet there and get off, so maybe not as severe as they thought.
And hey, a lot of these kids, they probably got some reps in when you've outscored your opponent 89-2 coming in. They probably got some reps in the last 2 games, but hey, these are big reps for them. A lot of these teams don't have junior varsity football teams, and when you're playing in running clocks, St. Paul gets a lot of running clocks on other people. Western does the same, so I mean, it takes your freshmen and your sophomores, and they're not getting as many reps.
Yeah, that's a great point, and you know those players end up being really important to these teams as the years go on. So very important for them to get the reps now, and you know who knows, a year or 2 pass, and they're the lead person on a play.
Minute 15 on the running clock. The quarterback's going to keep it, and at quarterback for the Rough Riders, I think that was 24, Peyton Kirby, 5'6", 145-pound freshman.
Doesn't really matter who Western puts back at quarterback. No. They like to run the quarterback, and I know we've commented on it a few times tonight, but you know they are mobile quarterbacks that they employ back there.
Is this the first punt, Brandon, or has Western had to punt but one other time?
I believe this is the first punt that we're seeing here from the Rough Riders.
So
back deep is Landon
can't tell.
Freeze.
Is that Braxton Freilich, or is that our kicker, Kohler Graves? Punt is away. They're going to let it bounce. It's going to take a Rough Rider bounce, and it's going to roll down inside the 30, still going down to the 27-yard line, and that's where the Flyers will take over, 1st down and 10.
That is a great punt there. It looked like Tyler Cooper, number 11, was in on the punt.
and they'll run the clock right now. St. Paul not even going to snap it, as I think at this point they said this was not the outcome we were looking for, and we're going to take it into the end zone and come back and try to be better next week. So that's going to wrap it up here. We will have our MVP and our post-game show coming shortly, but again, our final score here from Contractors Stadium, it was Western Reserve 46 and St. Paul 14. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with our MVP.
Every time that we walk in, we know we're going to walk into a place that's very clean, and when we walk in, we have a professional environment to come to. The reliability of Pinnacle is always on the spot. We've been with them 16 years so far. They're committed, they are professional, they are very transparent with their pricing, and they excel at meeting every goal and every need we have.
And we welcome into the booth winning quarterback Colton Vigro of the Western Reserve Rough Riders, as the Rough Riders come in and put a whooping on St. Paul today, 46-14. And Colton, I know you didn't start out the season as the starting quarterback. You know, 3-year letter winner Hayden Keith went down, and you've been asked to quarterback this team. Tell the camera there what it's like with this offensive line and those backfield to be the quarterback of the Rough Riders.
It's pretty awesome. You know, there's not much that can get better. We have a really great offensive line. Our running backs get active, and they do great.
Good. Now, it was a big one here tonight. What was Coach Stevenson's message coming into today?
Just to focus and feed the dogs and make sure everything goes good and execute and do what we do.
What's it like, you know, knowing you've got people that you can throw it to out there like Rowe and Tobias and Freilich? I mean, this is I've seen Western play football for 25, 30 years. This is an explosive group. And then you got Wiggle in the backfield. I mean, you got to feel comfortable having those guys around you.